You know what? I really, with all my heart, was so confident with that matchmaking. All the experts were.
Okay.
Especially Tsepo and Palesa.
Oh, yeah.
It took a turn for the West. I do believe that in the beginning there was an interest from both parties. But then as interest sort of decreases, so does the effort.
Of course.
And I think to date, we haven't really received an explanation of at what point did Tsepo check out to Palesa. Because I do believe Palesa loved Tsepo. She wanted to make it work. But there was a lot that happened which reminded her of a past that she was triggered. And maybe it would be good to outline some of these things that we might not understand visually on TV.
Yeah.
You find Nkululeko, who then confessed on episode 3 that I struggled. I was rejected by my dad. I wanted to be accepted as a son. My mom moved on, got married to another man that not really, in a way, integrated in the family. So I had to fend for food. And so I depended on dating older women to make money. You find the Makoto, who is a last born at home, is dealing with grief, loss of her mom, but also didn't understand that her dad was grieving too. It's just a different context. So what we see as somebody who is a spoiled brat is actually just bleeding from grief. We see a Nelisa, who is a phenomenal woman, successful in her own right, well educated, a hard worker, a true lover. Somebody who believes in love, believes in family and marriage, but has been robbed of that because of hurt. She was also rejected by her dad. So for her, holding on to a love matters. Is it toxic or not? It's a different conversation. But the acceptance and the approval of a man through love is very important to her, that kind of validation. We see a Temba who comes from a very traditional Tsonga background. And tradition then dictates that as a man, lead a family, have a house, take care of a woman. And he had that before with 2 kids. But, his heart had checked out. He then got to a point whereby I needed to be both ways. Is it right or wrong? It's a different conversation altogether. But he struggled with being honest. He struggled with transparency because he himself lost his father at a very early age. So he's always had to be a man, even as a teenage boy, So it's prematurely growing up too quickly and having to struggle with this facade and struggle with the family obligations that you're even afraid to disappoint somebody who you feel is not reciprocating what you're feeling. Then you have a Palesa who was married early, never had a voice in her marriage and, had to fight her way through pain, through emotional abuse and so forth. And so here she is having found herself. Yes, is she triggered? Yes, are there things that are unresolved? Absolutely. But being married again meant a new opportunity at love. And for her, she didn't want it to be a missed opportunity. But it's also the wounds of the father, that were unresolved. You have a Tsepo as well, who very close to his mom, but devoid of his father because he never had a close relationship with his father because of what the father put the mother through and things as a boy child that he had to step up and defend his mother from. So he's got a parental wound there and he sort of uses food as comfort. It's the only thing that could sort of silence the noise. You have a Bongani who also struggled with rejection.
Wrote a book about it.
Rejection of a father, growing up around women, but also as the only boy, you're forced to step up. Who do you cry to? Who are you vulnerable with, no matter how much support you have? So even the rejection, Portia, from the beginning was a trigger. And then he suffered the humiliation from it, which unfortunately dented his ego. And when you've been everything to everyone, but to a stranger, you can't be that. It's quite a hard pill to swallow.
When you're supposed to be the most intimate person with that stranger.
Absolutely. Then lastly, you have a Portia who, also has a daddy wound, a biological father. It was a very tumultuous relationship. And then you meet a man at the altar who looks like your father, has similar features, it's going to evoke a lot. So just like any cherry mo strateng, about kgoletsa, about shela, she was giving the guy a chase, but unfortunately it was trauma to trauma, and they were both triggered in the early stages of their relationship that they could not relate with each other to a certain degree. So everyone